I'm Tom, your friendly neighborhood atheist, and we are getting ready for Gateway. And I'm here with James Croft, who's going to be one of the many speakers at Gateway. And James, why don't you tell everybody what you are most known for?
I think the thing I would be most known for is providing a very passionate, positive expression of humanist values that leads directly into activism. Since I got involved in the movement, there's a style of speaking about humanism that I think is quite unusual, that engages people's emotions, that uses storytelling and theatrical training to get people to feel humanism and what it should feel like. I actually started talking about the use of the arts and music within humanist spaces because I kept going to these humanist communities and conferences where there was no music and there was no group activity, there was no singing, completely unlike almost any other conference you go to for any other reason. And I just felt like that was a big gap. And so I've become known for trying to introduce a more communal feel, a more passionate, emotive sense of what humanism is about. And that's what I hope to bring to Gateway to Reason.
Well, I look forward to that. Thomas has done a pretty good job with getting some musicians. Well, there's Shelley Siegel is going to be singing, and Monster Sunday is going to be speaking, but also singing some. But it's got a fairly diverse crowd of both speakers and entertainers. That makes the conference experience a lot more interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And it brings people together, you know. The purpose of a conference like this is not just to disseminate ideas. We're trying to sell a culture. And people won't buy into a culture unless it's rich with music and images and symbolism. Humanism tends to be rather thin and rational in this kind of dry way. And people don't want that. That doesn't excite people. And so we need to engage their emotions. So I'm excited to hear that there will be music and hopefully lots of laughter and fun at Gateway to Reason.
And these conferences are always a ton of fun. I've found that after even my first conference that I went to 3 years ago, the second one I went to, it was like meeting old friends and just a lot going on and a lot of fun. So is that basically what your talk is going to be about?
Not exactly. I'm not going to talk directly about that. I'm going to try and do that in my talk. I'm going to try and engage people through stories and to make people really feel the urgency of what I'm going to be talking about. But what I'm talking about is basically humanism in the age of Trump. Like, what does it mean to be a human in our culture right now, given the civic and political emergency we're experiencing, which really is a global emergency when the most wealthy, powerful nation on earth is run by a demagogue who has no respect for science, who has no respect for basic civil liberties, who is extraordinarily incompetent and bellicose and is willing to do anything that comes into his head. Humanists have a huge responsibility to step up and articulate a more positive vision of what America could be and what the world could be. Because I feel right now, all across particularly the wealthy West, there is a struggle between two different narratives about what our future is going to be like. One of which, the sort of Trump narrative, is the world is a big competition with winners and losers and limited resources, and we, white Americans, better be the ones to win because otherwise other people will win and they will screw us over. And there's another story that the progressive left is trying to tell, which is that there's plenty of resources for everyone, but we need to distribute them more equally. It is possible to create a participatory culture which is egalitarian instead of trying to smooth it all out. We can be internationalist and cooperate with people all over the world. We don't have to continually be in conflict with everybody. And right now, in many places, including in Britain and in the United States and across some other parts of Europe, that second message, the more humanist message, is losing. And I want to talk about how we can make it win, because I believe that humanism, if it's anything, is sort of an analog to a religious position. It is a value set that should guide one's life. It is a cultural product that we are offering. We are giving people a vision for the future that we want them to buy into. And we haven't been very good at that. We haven't convinced that many people to buy into our vision. And I think right now we have a huge opportunity to get more and more people excited about a different sort of future than the one we seem to be heading towards right now.
Well, is there anything about this particular conference that you are looking forward to?
Oh my goodness. I am so excited for Gateway to Reason for a whole host of reasons. Firstly, because I live in St. Louis now. I moved to St. Louis 3 years ago. 3 years ago, in order to work at the Ethical Society of St. Louis. I'm their outreach director now. The Ethical Society is one of the largest humanist congregations in the world with hundreds of members and our own beautiful building. It's a real powerful example of the potential for humanists to build long-lasting communities. And to have a conference like this right on our doorstep and to be able to participate in it is fantastic. Honestly, St. Louis is a little liberal bubble in a very conservative state. Unlike Boston, where I lived before, which was, in Massachusetts, which is a much more liberal state, the need for humanists to have a space, humanists, atheists, agnostics, and non-religious, to have a space to get together, to explore their common values, to affirm their dignity and their role in society, particularly in a state like Missouri, which often shoves people who are not traditionally religious to the side. That's extremely important. So I'm excited that this conference exists for that reason. I'm also excited just because there's a lot of great speakers coming, and I always love being connected to a national and sometimes international movement of humanists, atheists, skeptics, etc. Right now, it's a really good time to reconnect with people from around the country who I know well, and to meet some new people, and to get that feeling of being part of a broader movement.
Well, this is going to be an exceptionally good conference, not just for the lineup, but it's nice that it is centrally located in the country. St. Louis is a nice central location for so many people. It's easy to get to. And it's going to be July 28th through 30th, and it's only $50, pre-sale, and I think only $60 at the door. So it's a very affordable conference.
Yes.
And it's for those who've never been to an event like this, the biggest cost tends to be getting there. This one's easy to drive to. And hotel rooms, Thomas has set up a ride share and room share on Facebook. And nobody stays in the room anyhow. They're going to be up all night talking to people and having a good time. I know I get no sleep on these events.
Yeah, nobody stays in their room at these conferences. It's just party, party, party all the time.
Well, James, I really appreciate you sitting down and talking to me. I'm going to see you in a few weeks.
I'm excited. It's very close. It's less than a month away.
The summer will be over before we know it, so we got to pack in as much as possible. And Gateway to Reason is going to be a great thing to fit in.
I can't wait to see you all there.
Okay, I'm Tom, your friendly neighborhood atheist, and this is James Croft. And this is Getting Ready for Gateway, and we'll see you soon. Bye.